Hey guys, I'm still in Moscow now, and tonight I have a flight to New York. But before that, I wanted to attend this museum. I'm here like first time, but I saw so many pictures here. This particular pavilion about tanks, and look at that. This is a whole history of Soviet tanks in one like a row. Pay attention that early tanks is much more rare than late ones, because during the very first days of Second World War, mostly those tanks has been lost. For example, this is a pretty rare tank T-26 with like two machine gun turrets, and also you can see it on the pictures, on original footage pictures on the background. And this particular tank has been restored with the parts that people like volunteers brought back from the woods. You can see that like rusty spots, and those tanks completely lost during World War II, and then it has been like recovered in our days, which is like a super cool. This is a special tank. This tank is HT, like a chemical tank, 26, and you can see this is a flame tower turret on it, and you can see how it works. There are two like engine sparks, and it starts flame like a gasoline, like a petrol mix. So this tank used to destroy like bunkers and all that stuff. So you can see how it works here, because this is a flame tower tank, and this is how it used to work. It's exactly the same model, and you can see flame from the turret. So next one, this is a commander tank. Commander because of the antenna on, like a ring antenna on the top of the tank. And this particular one also has been found on the battlefield in our days and then restored. And all those tanks, all this row can move. It's like not just the models, you can add gasoline like petrol, and add like battery, and you can start it actually. So this is a very cool museum, because a few times in a year they can start tanks and just drive it. This is a T-26 from Soviet-Finnish War. You can see like white camo. It's also original tank, and you can see how rusty it was when it came from the woods, but guys restored it, and now it can move, and you can see actually how it was like a tank crew load weapon, load ammunition inside. This is a super rare. It's like a less than 20 pieces has been produced. This is artillery tank. I mean, like a Sturmgeschütz type, you know. But only 17 tanks like that has been produced in my native city in Leningrad. So this is interesting tank, because this tank has mixed. It's a BT-7, and BT-7 it's a special type of tanks. The feature of this model, you can remove tank tracks and drive just on the wheels, and there is a special system on it. For example, this is a very last wheel is driving wheel when you have tank tracks, but when you remove it, driving wheel is this one, the last with a like rubber covered. And this one is how to say it, you can use steering wheel to steer the tank, and there is a steering wheel. You can use it when you don't have tank tracks, you know what I mean. You can use just regular roads, but when you have tank tracks, when it's like a usual model, you just use those two pieces to steer. Just stop the tank tracks on one side, and tank is turning. I hope I hope it was clear. So this special model came in before the World War II, and this is a very interesting model. And during the Halchingol, when Japanese troops came to Mongolia, Soviet troops helped Mongolia defend themselves in the Halchingol River, and that was like this tank was game changer also, one of game changers on the battlefield, because they came, they like covered around 500 miles for 12 hours. It was like incredible speed, only because of they removed tank tracks and used their like wheel mode, like speed mode. Those two tanks are like floating tanks, and sometimes it's like pretty low, and you can see it's very small. And this is also small tank, because only two people as a crew was in that tank, and Soviet army needed a tank like that, because all early tanks, like most of them, has been lost on the very first days of the war. So to cover the gap of the tanks, they produced this one. This is a T-60. Those three guys are Valentine, Stewart, M3, and Sherman. Those three guys are Lend-Lease story, and Lend-Lease, you know everything about it. It was very helpful for Soviet troops, and Soviet tank crews very liked that stuff, because it came like everything was inside, also like Tommy guns and all that stuff you can find in a tank if it came with Lend-Lease program. So this is very cool, and actually you can be like surprised how big is a Sherman. It's impressive. Those two guys are T-70 and like self-propelled artillery, and also it was many of them. And this is T-34. Those two are like early model, and you can recognize it easily because of the like a cannon mask. And this one, you can see it has been shot on the cannon mask. And this tank was game changer for Germans at the beginning of the war, because for 1941 it was very nice tank, but Soviet factories worked and they did their best to produce as many as they could at that time, and they did it successful. I mean, this is pretty famous tank. I think you know about it, but usually you can see on the like postaments, on monuments, this tank. This is a very late one for like 1945 for Battle of Berlin version, but this one is the middle of the war, 1943, 1944, and this one is very early. This is September 1941 production, so which is very rare and very interesting. On the base of T-34, there was two self-propelled guns, 85, SU-85 and SU-100, and you can see the difference was in shells, 100 millimeter and 85 millimeter also. This one is Joseph Stalin ES-2. It was also game changer in the very end, so it was competitive with like Tiger, with heavy tanks, and those two guys, self-propelled guns with 152 millimeters and 122 millimeters. It calls in Russian like animal beaters, you know, because of they could shot Tiger and Pantera and like Ferdinand Elephant and those guys. So you can see the difference between like self-propelled guns based on T-34 and self-propelled guns based on ES-2 in Joseph Stalin wheels. Also, there is a special stuff, I don't know how to call it in English. This is aviation. This is an aircraft motor with a machine gun and everything on the skis, so I have no idea how to call it in English. But anyway, this is Scout M3 armored vehicle. This is for Battle of Berlin, and you can see it. It's forward to Berlin sign on top of it, and this is a American one, American produced, also Lend-Lease. This is totally like Soviet one, BA-64. This is a 1942 production, and those guys are like pretty rare and pretty early ones. This is a very beginning of the war, and it was like pretty dangerous for their crew because they used benzene, like a gas, not a diesel. Because of that, they like burn very fast. So it was very dangerous for the crew if something hit the gas tank, which was under the steering wheel. So, and here we can see like a whole column of those armored vehicles, which is so cool to see. I hope you like this museum, and I have a flight in a few hours, so I gotta go. And if you want to know more about like early Soviet type of tanks or armored vehicle, let me know. I gotta come here in this museum like later, and maybe we can see something like closer. So this is another day of my challenge, daily posting videos, and thank you guys for watching this video until the end, and leave comments. Have a good one, and see you tomorrow.